There's so many different ways you can look into to improve your overall sleep quality using these products, devices, and tools before you even dabble with over-the-counter supplements or the medications which we discussed in part 1 or 2. But you know how it goes. People want to know about the subs or the drugs before they start looking into actually spending their money on a high-quality mattress. Vigorous Steve here. Welcome to part 3 of the Deep Sleep Deep Dive video series. In this part, we're going to discuss the products and tools to help you fall asleep faster, reduce the onset of sleep, keep you asleep longer, improve the quality of your sleep, and also make you wake up feeling super refreshed and not wake up with this pesky alarm clock that you're going to press the snooze button of multiple times before you actually wake up and then kind of crawl towards your cup of coffee to get the day started. So in this video, I want to discuss products and tools that can help you. You have to make some significant investments because a mattress and a CPAP machine and everything else that we're going to discuss, it's not going to be cheap. So the over-the-counter supplements and the medications might actually be a cheaper route, but these are actually going to be the ones that improve the overall sleep quality, especially if you have several of the sleep disorders, which we're going to highlight. Before we get into it, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon memberships or YouTube memberships, where you can vote for upcoming deep dives, or join the weekly Vigorous Q&A, which is always on Saturday, where you don't have to ask anything regarding the improvement of overall sleep quality, because now there's already 3 parts in this video series, and there's even one more on the way. Okay, we're not going to go super in-depth with these products and tools. I'm just going to highlight them. There's several different videos on my YouTube channel, which I'll mention when it's applicable, which go a little bit more in-depth. So let's just get started with the APAP or the CPAP machine, which is literally life-saving. Now, if you don't know if you suffer from sleep apnea, again, I made a dedicated video about that. You can watch it here, where I go over how to self-diagnose using basically your webcam on your laptop and just scrolling through the timeline to kind of see where you're snoring loudly or waking up, gasping for air based on the audio recording. And then you watch the webcam back and see how you basically respond. You can take this footage to your doctor and then actually do a proper sleep study to get an APAP and CPAP machine prescribed. Again, you know, sometimes the medical community isn't there forthcoming. You might have to wait 4 months, 6 months, even 1 year before you're allowed to do a sleep study. They magically hope that it's going to go away. You know, I'll go lose some weight. And if you can't get it on prescription because you're preventative, not reactive, like all of those prescribing physicians are, then you're going to have to source these APAP or CPAP machines somewhere online. If I have a link for you, I'll link it down below. And otherwise, well, do your due diligence. There's always a source, depending on the country where you are, where you can buy secondhand, previously prescribed APAP or CPAP machines. Really, guys, if you're large and in charge, or you eat a ton of foods, or you have central sleep apnea, which is caused by some obstruction on your central nervous system, again, get it diagnosed, get it prescribed. It will literally save your life and improve the quality of your life tremendously while you're still alive. It's a no-brainer. Luckily for me, I don't suffer from sleep apnea in any way, shape, or form. Even if I eat 6,500 calories and I weigh 120 kilos, I still don't snore, but that's luckily for me. It might not be you. So if your partner is telling you, bro, I can't sleep, or dude, I can't sleep, baby, I can't sleep because you're snoring like a crazy person and you're waking up gasping for air, again, do that sleep study. It will literally save your life. The second thing you should invest in, and this is one of the best purchases I ever made in my life, besides the cats in this house, is a mattress. A mattress, a quality mattress, and there's a million different brands of them, and I'm not being sponsored by any of these mattress companies, so you're going to have to do your own research. I bought one here at an outlet store. Normally, these mattresses, or the mattress that I bought, is approximately $3,000, but I got it for a bargain at $1,200 because it was, a previous model that it's going to be replaced. Sometimes they have show models you can get on a discount, but if you go with a mattress that's mad expensive, but somehow you can get it on a discount, man, the quality of sleep that you get out of it, tremendous. And maybe what you can do is sample all of these mattresses for real. You go to a couple high quality hotels, maybe 4-star, 5-star hotels, and you put the money, maybe $100, $200, to sample a mattress and then, lift up the cover and look for the brand or the product line or the serial number so you can purchase the exact same mattress, which is what I did. I went to the Hilton and the Intercontinental. I slept like an absolute baby. and I just looked underneath the covers to see what the mattress brand was, and then I found something comparable at an outlet store for a huge freaking discount. These two things alone will substantially improve your sleep quality. And then the third thing you can look into are blinding curtains. Again, waking up to the sun coming up according to your circadian rhythm, that's highly beneficial. But blinding curtains to keep out all of the light pollution and perhaps prevent from some of the heat radiating inwards by reflecting it outside. You have double-sided blackout curtains. The inside part is usually dark, either black or brown or darker color of red. You can find these in the high-end hotels in Dubai or Thailand, for example, or another place where it's really, really hot. The inside is dark, but the outside that reflects the heat outwards, that's probably a silver color, highly reflective. And if the windows are tinted, then that's even better. So this way, the temperature of the room stays nicely balanced, especially if you have air conditioning. Don't worry, we'll get to that. But the darkness of the room stays sustained. This keeps the light pollution outside. So if you live next to a road with a lot of cars whizzing by, or there's street lights or neon lights, even worse, or the worst thing known to man is living next to a football stadium with those spotlights shining everywhere, a blackout curtain will also save your life. And if you can't afford that, just start with one of those masks, use that for a month or 2 or 3. You can literally buy those for as little as $2 online. And that way you can see if you want to invest into a two-sided blackout curtain that can radiate the heat outwards. And ideally, you get a blackout curtain that's electric, so it opens up sometime in the morning when the sun is coming up, so you can wake up naturally as the sun is rising according to your circadian rhythm. This way, you slowly get accustomed to the increase in light, and that way your cortisol levels don't shoot up, especially if you wake up based on your alarm clock or something else that is happening around the house. Right? You slowly but steadily wake up as the sun is coming up. For this, you need electric rails on your blackout curtain, which is, again, going to add to the costs. But if you want to, they have lamps for this as well, which simulate how the sun is coming up. Can even play some sort of audio tunes, like the ocean, for example, or some birds singing, their usual wake-up songs. These are also very beneficial. They're quite cheap. They might be $50 or $75, depending on the model that you're going after, with various features. They're called sunrise stimulating alarm clocks. I'll link the one down below that I used to have. Unfortunately, it didn't survive a couple of years in my bedroom due to various reasons of kicking stuff over while you're getting busy. So, right, I don't expect the world out of this, but still, if you're, sleeping outside of your circadian rhythm and you're using these blinder curtains, then this can simulate the sun from coming up. But ideally, you keep the curtains open, or you use one of those electric rails to allow the curtains to open so you can wake up based on the sun coming up. A freebie, almost, literally $1, is just cheap earplugs. I use them every night, but I only use one side because I sleep on the other side, and I don't like these earplugs stuck in my ear when I'm sleeping on the pillow. So I just put one side, and when I flip sides, automatically I switch the earplugs as well. And this way you make your 2 earplugs last even longer because you're only using one per time. I don't like this feeling of the earplug pressing into my head when I'm sleeping on my side, and I always sleep on my side. Maybe that's why I don't snore. I literally can't sleep on my back. This is why it's very hard to travel by airplane or by sleeper bus or by sleeper train. Sleeper train usually works because you can sleep on your side, but a sleeper bus or sleeping in the airplane, forget about it. Even if I use 2 earplugs and some mask on my eyes, I barely ever sleep unless I use some of the medications which I discussed in the previous video. Again, earplugs are the cheapest option. You can bring them everywhere. You can find them everywhere. They're usually found in a pharmacy or even at the airport, marked up, obviously, because you literally have nowhere else to go. So buy them beforehand. Earplugs, lifesaver. Some people like to tape their mouth. Now, I've never done this myself. You can find a multitude of different videos on the internet why taping your mouth while you're sleeping is highly beneficial. I know I tried it a couple times, and I would always wake up from myself pulling the tape off. And, so yeah, it doesn't really contribute to my sleep quality. Still, it's something you can look into. So long story short, basically, before you go to bed, you tape your mouth closed with one of the tapes that it's skin friendly, because again, it's going to be there for 6 to, let's say, 9 hours in duration, unless you pull it off like I used to do. And this way you don't breathe through your nose, which is said to improve sleep quality. Like, don't be a mouth breather, especially at night. Tape your mouth so you breathe through your nose. And this way you have a better indication in the brain of how much oxygen you're getting in. And you're also exhaling a good amount of CO2. And again, you get this signal from your nose to your brain. And this way it is said to improve sleep quality. A lot of people swear by it, but I never got into it. So it's something you can look into, but don't take my word for it because I never really got good results. You can look into blue light glasses. Again, a lot of us are sitting in front of the computer or the TV screen or the mobile phone 24/7. And there's blue light glasses that can help you block the blue light so your brain can actually relax and decompress and unwind before going to bed. Personally, I found that stopping an hour, any kind of work, stopping an hour before I go to bed helps tremendously. I don't work all the way up to going to bed. I found that that's very unproductive as well. That's the last hour of the day. I mean, how much work are you going to do in this last hour of the day? So I don't use blue light glasses, but some people swear by it. Some people might use that for the last 4 hours before going to bed. But from my personal experience, working until an hour before going to bed and then playing with my cats or doing some sort of reading and gratitude stuff, and then kind of planning the next day by keeping some notes, that's more than enough to help me fall asleep, especially if you use some of the over-the-counter supplements. So it's another thing you can look into. Some of the coders that I know that, work on mobile apps or websites or that kind of stuff, they swear by the blue light glasses. They might wear it the entire day. But most of the coders and programmers that I know that had good success with these blue light glasses, they eventually go to an application that they install on their laptop or computer or even their mobile phone to help regulate the blue light that the screens are producing. I'll link a couple of these apps down below. Feel free to install them. I think they're free. And that way you can kind of regulate on which times the blue light intensity on your screens is actually reduced. Now, the way this works is by removing the amount of blue light that gets into your eye. This way, melatonin production, especially later in the day, is regulated through normal levels. Because, if you sleep according to your circadian rhythm and you're normally an outside animal, nowadays we're all inside animals, but you'll be used to, our genetic makeup is based on being outside. As the sun goes down, the amount of blue light that enters our eyes goes down as well. And this way, melatonin is secreted and produced. So by wearing blue light glasses or using some of these blue light managing applications, the amount of melatonin production before you go to bed is normal and helps you fall asleep and prevents insomnia or daytime sleepiness. And otherwise, again, supplemental melatonin might be an alternative. What I found one of the most beneficial things and purchases that I've did besides the mattress is a body towel. So it's not a basic blanket. Again, I live in a hot climate. I have an air conditioning, but this body towel literally saves my life because normally if I sleep underneath a blanket that doesn't allow for the heat to permeate and radiate outwards, I sweat buckets. Whether I'm on cycle or not, whether I use Trenbolone or just TRT, I sweat buckets. And that's even with the air conditioning. You don't want the air conditioning to blow on your body because then you get a stuffy nose and you might get sick if your face gets too cold throughout the entire night. So use a body towel instead. It's basically a beach towel, albeit body sized, maybe 2 or 3 times the size as a beach towel. And this you can buy online as well. I'll link a couple ones that are similar to the ones that I use here in Thailand down below, probably available on Amazon. It wouldn't surprise me. Reasonably inexpensive. But if you have a very big body type or you're on Trenbolone and you radiate a lot of body heat or you live in a climate that's reasonably hot, even if you have an air conditioning blowing up to the foot of your bed, this body towel just allows you to stay a perfect temperature. And you can actually combine this with mattresses that have climate control, albeit that those mattresses are highly expensive too. So air conditioning and a body towel and a reasonably cheap mattress that is otherwise much higher priced, but you got it on a discount at an outlet store, that's probably the most effective or cost-effective way to go. But if you have copious amounts of money and money isn't an issue for you, then yes, get one of those climate control mattresses with a body towel and an air conditioning, whatever else that I'm mentioning in this video. And well, on the subject of air conditioning, climate control in your bedroom is essential. So depending on where you live, on your climate outside, the inside climate of your bedroom, very beneficial for overall sleep quality. I have an air conditioning here in Thailand, which I use, let's say 11 months out of the year. In December or early January, it's not that hot. I just use a fan, which is at the foot end of my bed, still using the body towel to keep myself at adequate temperature throughout the night. I have the air conditioning blowing at, let's say, 26, 24 degrees at a moderate intensity to the foot of my bed. And then I use the foot end fan, which is silent. It doesn't have to be a Dyson. You can, again, get very cheap fans that are completely silent for as little as $25 to $50, depending on the model. I put it at the foot end of my bed and blow the air of the air conditioning over my body from foot to head, permeating through the body towel. So I keep the fan of the air conditioning at, let's say, level 1 or 2 at a degree of 24 to 26, depending on the outside temperature and when I actually sleep. Because again, I sleep outside of my circadian rhythm. So as I'm sleeping, the outside temperature is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So I might start to fall asleep at 26 degrees on the air conditioning at level 2. And then I might drop it down to 24 because outside it's getting hotter. And even with, double-sided blackout curtain, some of the heat is still going to permeate into the room. And then the fan at the foot end of my bed is at level 1 as well, just to blow a little bit of this cold air over my body through the body towel, keeping my body temperature exactly consistent throughout the night. And with a good mattress, man, it's absolute bliss. No medications or over-the-counter supplements required. And then again, depending on the climate or how intense your air conditioning is blowing and dehumidifying, you might want to combine that with a humidifier to actually increase the humidity in the room so you don't get this super sore throat. Now, some of the APAP and CPAP machines already humidify the air that you're breathing in with the use of these machines. But otherwise, if you sleep in a very dry climate where the air conditioning is blowing super hard because it's so hot outside, then you might need an additional humidifier to keep the humidity of your bedroom, good enough so you don't get a sore throat. I feel that based on my own personal experience that these products, devices, these tools are the most effective ones to improve overall sleep quality, make you fall asleep faster, keep you asleep longer in a deeper state of sleep, and make you wake up, naturally, so to say, even if you're using devices. And besides that, we already mentioned sleep masks. You can look into a white noise machine to help play a constant soothing sound in the background, or sleep trackers. I mean, there's so many sleep trackers out there. You can look into rings or watches or whatever else to track your sleep. Those are highly beneficial. But again, there's so many to review and discuss that I just want to highlight them here. There's various pillows, like an orthopedic pillow that's actually designed based on the shape of your neck and head, or a meditation cushion or a body pillow, for example, which I use every single night. So this way I can kind of hug the body pillow, sleeping on my side, one earplug sticking out of the side that's exposed, not laying against the pillow. So I have a regular pillow that's for my head and a body pillow that I can kind of hug. And this way, my arms and legs don't go numb, especially when I have super high body weight and using copious amounts of performance-enhancing drugs, which, make your muscles very, very big and might make you super lean, but it's kind of compressing all the veins. And then you wake up with these floppy arms, literally going to the bathroom like you're Conor McGregor. So look into these pillows, highly beneficial. You can even look into a weighted blanket. Some people notice a beneficial effect from that, kind of compressing you throughout the night. I found that it's also very beneficial in colder climates. I would have a very thick, basically a weighted blanket when I slept with the door open. Yeah, the door wide open in the middle of winter. It was -5 degrees Celsius outside. And I would have like 2 heavy blankets while wearing a beanie over my head. And this way I would be exposed to the raw elements of nature during winter, but I would still be nice and cozy, nice and warm, because this weighted blanket, these 2-layered blankets in the beanie, would keep me nice and hot. But the air that I would breathe in, super duper clean, for the guys to remember how nice and, refreshing and oxidizing this winter air actually is. You can look into aromatized diffusers or essential oils. So I had some people notice that they fall asleep better using these kinds of diffusers or oils. You can rub those on your chest if you want as well. There's so many different ways you can look into to improve your overall sleep quality using these products, devices, and tools before you even dabble with over-the-counter supplements or the medications, which we discussed in part 1 or 2. But you know how it goes. People want to know about the subs or the drugs before they start looking into actually spending their money on a high-quality mattress, which, again, is a lifesaver, just like a CPAP machine is a lifesaver, or the blackout curtains, or the earplugs, all that good stuff. Look into it. It will improve the quality of your sleep way more than what we discussed in part 1 or 2. I'll try my best to find some of these products over on Amazon, so you can click those links down below in the description section. If I found something that I use myself or that I feel is very beneficial and representative of what I've used in the past, you can find all of my sponsors and affiliates in the description section, or head over to my website, vigoroussteve.com. I've got more sponsors and affiliates there. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Vigorous Steve, Vigorous Crew. A front double bastard for you guys. I sleep like a baby because I have a very expensive mattress that I got at a discount. And again, that was one of the best investments that I've ever made in my life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video discussing the best practices for phenomenal sleep hygiene. Stay tuned and subscribe now if you're not subscribed yet.